Hey folks, it's AJ here once again. Well, I can't say once again, I haven't been here in a while. Doing another one of my, once again doing my standard, I guess you could say, um, public phone reviews. But this time, I am doing 4 phones at a time. Fun comparison. Uh, all of them are Google Pixel phones, different versions. Just want to let you see and know what the review is. As I said, I'm not a standard phone reviewer. I consider myself just a general user. No user for anything abstract. It's just I have these 4 different phones. I'm just giving my little personal review based on standard usage. So let's go. Now, what we have here is 4 different Google Pixel phones. I love my Google Pixels. And I just decided to see how they all stack up with each other. Side by side, a little fun comparison just to get you all up to speed. Now, although there are 4 different Pixels, they're all literally running the same Android. What we have first is the Google Pixel 7. Next, oops, sorry about that, is the Google Pixel 8a. Okay. After that is the Google Pixel 9. Oh, sorry about that. Let me turn that over like that. And last but definitely not least is the brand new Google Pixel 9a. 9a, in case you didn't hear that the first time. Okay, here we go. Now, all things considered, I'm a big Google Pixel fan. Love my Google Pixel phones. Anytime a new one come out, I try to get one. So I can't say I have money like that. Of course, I do not. I have a wonderful partner who allows me to enjoy these whenever a new one comes out. So either I'm able to get it or I'm not. But over the years, I've gotten 4 different phones, and right now, just want to run a fun comparison. Just a fun comparison. Now, the fingerprint scanner on all of them, except the Pixel 9 right here. The fingerprint scanner is optical. That one's what's that? Ultrasonic, like Samsung does. But they're all pretty quick. They're all responsive. The Pixel 9 is the fastest. I don't compare any of them in a speed test. I just have them. But they're all good. I don't even use, as you can see, I don't even use the fingerprint scanner. But if I wanted to, I easily could on each one of them. So they're all fast, they're all smooth, they're all responsive. And even from the oldest one, which is the 7, I haven't had any issues with any of them whatsoever. No lagging, no nothing. The only time there is any kind of issue is, honestly, I guess you could say, depend on the carrier. And depend on what you're doing. And since I consider myself I would say I would consider myself a below average everyday user, which means I don't live on my phone. That's almost impossible. As you see, I have several of them, but I don't live on my phone. Motion sensor. None of them did it but the Pixel 9, as you can see. Okay, let's go ahead and open these screens again. As you can see, I do have the screens on open. I don't leave the house with them, just plainly open. Too many things can happen. My fun is in home. Now, as you can see, screens are very different. Different wallpapers and everything. So, what I'm going to do is go into it and find a like screen. I do believe I have. No. Okay. Trying to find a like screen. I do believe I have all of them on my Amazon account. And that is basically the brightest screen of all. Now, looking at the brightness of these screens, look at them. If I just said which one is the flagship, you really wouldn't be able to tell unless due to the fact that I've already pointed out that that's the Pixel 9. But look at these screens. These screens are literally phenomenal, even going all the way back down to the Pixel 7. This is the Pixel 7. And I'm sorry, just look at that screen. You try to say what's the difference between them. A lot of people say what's the difference between them. They go by these paper specs on paper. I don't go by specs on paper. I go by if the phone catches my eye, I get it, I try it, I either like it or don't. But it's Pixel, so I'm always gonna like it. Now, you try to disparage the screens. A lot of people want to talk about the screens of this, the screens of that. Okay, here we go. Now, look at this. This is the Pixel 7 and the Pixel 8a. You see that? Which one is brighter? Now, the Pixel 7 is supposed to be the flagship. The Pixel 8a is actually the 8 series, I'll say, 8 series entry, or as Google like to call it, budget level. Now in the video, as you can see, look at this. The 8A screen is more vibrant than the 7, and the 7 is the flagship version. This is the 7. No, it's not the 7 Pro, but this is still the flagship version of a Pixel. And this 8A blows it out of the water. You can see the difference in this video. Just look. You can tell. But sitting by itself, if you're not really doing a side by side, you really can't tell the difference. Okay? Now let me move the 8A over to the side and grab the 9. See, I'll grab it like this because I kind of don't want to really accidentally scroll through the screen. And as you can really tell, the 8A is actually the smallest screen I have. Okay? The 7, the 9, the 9A, they're all running 6.3 inches. The 8A is 6.2. But you look at this again, comparison. You cannot really tell that one screen is actually brighter than the other unless you literally do them side by side. Now, as you saw, the 8A was slightly brighter than the 7. The 9 is slightly brighter, slightly sharper than the 8A. You would expect that. The 8A is a mid-range. The 9 is a flagship. So you would expect the 9 to have a slightly better, slightly sharper screen. Okay, let's move the 9 over a little bit and grab the 9A. Now, this one, folks, is really interesting because these are the same series from both, basically both of them are in the 9 series. And you see the 9A and you see the 9. Now, the fun part about this is you look at these screens and just look. You expect the 9 to be brighter than the 9A. And to be honest, even as I'm looking at it, I don't really see where the 9 is brighter. I see the 9A just as bright, just as vibrant. If I'm sitting here trying to look at the same thing, yeah, let's pull up and try to let me find something, just anything, but I want to find the same item on both devices, because I just want to see what the difference is or would be. Just trying to look at the same items on the screen. You know what? This is what I'll do. I will go there. Go to my little cart. What I'll do right there is I will just... Okay, where's my cart? Here we are. And I don't know what this one is saying. It's not letting me get to my cart. I think it has something to do with the setup, where it's not actually accessing. Wait a minute, let me check and make sure I'm actually into my account. Oh, that's what's going on. I didn't have access in my account. So let me pause this for a second, go into my account, and then I'll be right back. Oh, okay, now I'm back. I ran across a little issue with my account for some odd reason. There was extra security. I had to update it, sign it all over again. That's the only thing I hate when it comes to these updates. Now back to what I was trying to say. I was trying to compare the screen brightness or whatever of the Pixel 9 and the Pixel 9A. Just to see, okay, in this hand is the Pixel 9A. And this hand is the Pixel 9. Now, as I set these phones side by side, as I was saying before, there doesn't really seem to be any difference in the screen brightness. And this is the flagship. This is the mid-range. And as you can see, this is, to me, it's amazing because it's basically showing the same brightness. You could barely tell. Excuse me. But you can barely tell any difference. Wherever you go. Okay. Just for that, I just click on the item. As you can see, for some odd reason, it'll kill some getting different, backgrounds, whatever. But look at this. I'm sorry. I don't see a difference in the brightness. It seems that the 9A is just as bright as the Pixel 9. And I mean, this comparison is really fun. And I say fun. Now look at this. All right, I clicked it on, and you see the 9A actually, this one, pulled it up much faster than the regular 9. So the mid-range is, I'm not going to say it's faster. It just depends on the circumstances, I suppose. Because sometimes one will pull up faster than the other, sometimes it won't. Okay? I'm just looking. the average smoothness of both phones are just there. They're both just as smooth as you can see. Same screen, same size screen, you know. I mean, all in all, to me, both of these are just amazing. And as far as everyday usage, it's just there. They're both just there. I can't really put one over the other. It really comes down to a personal preference. What would you prefer now? Although I have the Pixel 9, I have always been a fan of the A series. So if I were to pick two out of these, the two I would pick would be the Pixel 8a right here and the Pixel 9a right there. There is just something about to me, the personal build of the series and the fact that you're getting, they say near flagship, I say flagship. So in my opinion, you're getting flagship capabilities on each phone for half the price of a flagship. Okay? I mean, I would say almost half the price. And now looking at the battery itself, okay, I've had all of these phones on for the same amount of time. Now, every last one of them is running 95, is dropped to 95. Pixel 9a has dropped down to 90. I must have more in the background of that one. The Pixel 7, the oldest of them, as I said, they've all been on the same amount of time. The Pixel 7 is only at 99. It only dropped 1%. I'm going to assume that it's because, of course, I've been running through the apps. The reason I would say the reason the Pixel 9a is doing, how shall I say, the most is because I did the most on that. As I said, I ran across an account issue, and as a result of that account issue, getting into a certain account, I had to do it on that. So that's what made that take up more power. I haven't done anything on the Pixel 7, which is why there's only 1% loss. So actually this battery, I would say battery drain wouldn't count because it all depends on what you're doing on each phone. Haven't done anything on the Pixel 7, so it only lost 1%. On the Pixel 8a and the Pixel 9, I had just a very slight little account issue with my Amazon account. So I had to refresh that, go back into that, and of course, roughly I spent the same amount of time, lost the same amount of power. The Pixel 9a, I had a bigger issue, and I spent more time on it. And because I spent more time on it, of course, the battery drain was a little bit more. I spent about 3 times more time on that. Of course, you didn't see it in the break because, of course, I paused the camera. But I spent about 3 times more screen time on the Pixel 9a because of the issue I had. And, of course, that was the drain. But the good part about it is, of all 4 of these phones, the 9a has the biggest battery. Now, does that mean it'll last longer? Technically, yes, but at the same time it has the bigger battery, it also has the same processor as the 9. Yes, same processor, bigger battery, but screen is on par with the Pixel 9. Screen brightness is on par with the Pixel 9. I would honestly say they're all absolutely out there in a very good way. So they're all basically running, looks like the screen time on them is running a little different. So just to keep them all running, I only have them on roughly 5 minutes. But of course, the screen will go down. You see this has dropped down. This Pixel 9 itself has dropped down to 94. I could sit here and go by battery all day. At the same time, you have to go by usage. Now, once you actually start using these phones and diving into them, I really don't really keep track of the battery usage because they always drain differently depending on what you're doing. This could drain, the Pixel 7 could drain fast in one day and slow in another. It really depends on what you're doing. So I can't say which one has the better battery. I would have to say if you really have to go by the better battery, it would be the Pixel 9a. The Pixel 9a simply because it literally has the biggest battery. It has a bigger battery than every single one of these. It has a bigger battery than the Pixel 9 Pro. It has a bigger battery than the Pixel 9 Pro XL. It has a bigger battery than the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. Yes, the Pixel 9a has the biggest battery in absolutely any Google Pixel phone. And I don't know if you can see what I see in these phones. I don't know if you can see, the specs or whatever I see. To me, Pixel is not, I won't say Pixel is the absolute best with this or with that. It's really a personal preference. I go by what my eyes like, what I feel is comfortable with my eyes. To me, Pixel is sharp but not oversaturated. I actually keep most of mine on dark mode, and as you can see, they're basically running the same speed. I really don't want to try to jump the gun and say one is faster than the other. And they're both, they're all four of them are running Android 15. Now, the only reason I'm doing up and down is because the way I have my apps set, this is it. This is all on my app screen. Nothing more. Nothing. I basically minimize my app screen for and as you can see, there really is no difference. You can go by smoothness, and if you try to go by smoothness, you would have to really be a keen-eyed person to pay full attention to how smooth these phones run. As you can see, the oldest phone that I have, the Pixel 7, it is literally running just as smooth. To me, just as smooth. There really is no difference. Pixel 8a and the 9. No real difference. No real difference at all. And as I said, it comes down to a personal thing. You look at these phones, and you look at the screen size, the screen sharpness, and you can't really tell a difference. If I go into something like, let's just say the settings, okay? Now you can tell just a difference in the screen sharpness of these phones. Just a bit. If you go by absolute sharpness, it's a given. Better processor, although they're supposed to be the same. Let's be honest. The A series processor is, how shall I say, it's the flagship series processor leveled down 1 to 2 notches. So it's to say, yeah, it's the same processor, but not exactly the same. And you look at that because of the secondary processor. I'm not going into all of that. To me, that's a little bit ridiculous to go into. But looking at all of them, okay, here's the 9. As you can see, the 9 has a slightly sharper screen. Slightly sharper. Just by a niche. It's a little bit more vivid, but just by a literal niche. But they're both running smooth. And for the price difference, I'm sorry, it's a hell of a deal, because I really don't see the difference in these two. All right, they both have the G4 sensor chip. They're both 128 gigs. They're both IP68 waterproof. They both, as you can see, has AMOLED screen. They're both the same screen size at 6.3. And to me, there's really no difference. There really is. I try to find a difference, and there really is none. Okay. I wish I could say there's a difference. To me, there's no difference at all. None at all. I'm looking at them, and let's go down to my favorite, because this is one of the first things I do when I get a Pixel phone: display and touch. All right, you see that? They're both 100%. I never do the adaptive brightness. It's irritating to watch the screen dim in and out. Screen timeout, 5 minutes. I always keep my phone on dark screen. Screensaver, no. The only difference is I always slightly display do the font size and text size. Always do bold. Never do high contrast. Basically, as you can see, I keep my screens basically the same. And when you look at it that way, I mean, to me, that's the best comparison, is to, when you do your settings, you put everything the same, especially if you're going to do something like compare. Now, when you're going to do something like compare, you make it fair. You make it fair, you make it equal. And what I like about Google Pixel is they don't change much from phone to phone. The difference is always in the level of tech you have, or screen tech you have in the phone, or processor tech. It's always in the level. The difference is in the level, but there is the little fact that, you look at them and there's really not much difference to even look at. There really isn't. I really, I always fail to see any difference in these phones, except for maybe how the screen may look, or the sharpness or depth of the screen itself. You would never know the differences of how bright or how non-bright these screens are compared to each other unless you literally do them side by side. Yes, the Pixel 9 is technically the brightest and sharpest screen. Pixel 9a, extremely close. Okay. What was I trying to get to? Actually, I was trying to get to the one important thing to me is a system. No, it's not system. It's not system. It is, I believe, about phone. And this is always the fun part for me. And this is what I actually like about it. And my thing is, when it comes to about phone, the one thing I like about Pixel is that one thing right there. See that? And I'm putting them all on the same thing as soon as I can remember what they are. Okay, about phone, blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah. Wait a minute, where is it? Where is it? Ah, there we are. They all are running Android 15. Now, here's where it will get a little interesting. And this is what I would say this is really the only quirk. And to me it's not even a quirk. Okay? As you can see, all of them are running Android 15. Every single one of them. Okay, let me show you that. Pixel 8a. If you can make that out. Alright. Got that. Got the Pixel 8a. And you got the Pixel 9. And last but not least, Pixel 9a. Now here's what the fun part is about this. Okay. The Pixel 9 is the flagship. The Pixel 9a is the mid-range. The Pixel 8a is the mid-range. The Pixel 7 is the flagship. Now, of course, you would expect each one of these to, be a little bit older or have a few a few Google updates behind its back. Okay. With the 7 being the oldest phone, the Pixel 7, if you count by the years, okay, the Pixel 7 is roughly 2.5-year-old phone. I would say 2 3/4, about 9 months. It will be. This is currently April, so within the next 3 to 4 months, Google will be releasing the Pixel 10. So I'm going to round up. So I would say the Pixel 7 is a 3-year-old phone. Okay. The Pixel 7 came out with Android 13 out the box. All right. It came out with Android 13 out the box. So as you can see, it has received 2 updates. The Pixel 8a came with Android 14 out the box. It has received 1 update. Now the interesting part is the Pixel 9. It came out 2 months early, which unfortunately is exactly a month before the update for this series was supposed to have dropped. So although it was supposed to have come out with Android 15 out the box, it did not. It came out with Android 14, same as the Pixel 8 series. It came out with Android 14 out the box. And so it, just like the Pixel 8a, has had 1 update. The Pixel 9a has the biggest advantage because, number one, it was just released a few weeks ago. 2. It came out with Android 15 out the box. So while all of these have updates, behind their chassis, the Pixel 9a came out with Android 15 out the box. So in another 2 or 3 months when Android 16 drops, it will be the first update for the Pixel 9a, the second update for the flagship Pixel 9, because again, it came out with Android 14. The second update for the Pixel 8a, because it came out with Android 14. The third update for the Pixel 7. Now, the Pixel 7 literally just got included in this new multi-year, 7-year update. So even though it will be on its third update, of course, it has 4 more to go, 6 more to go, 6 more to go. I'm sorry, let me say that correctly. This is update number 2, or should I say update number 1 is due for 7 updates. Yeah, so update number 1. And this is actually based on Android 16 dropping. All right. So if we don't include Android 16 dropping, this came out at Android 14. So you have up to Android 21. It's on 15. So this already has 1, 6 left, 6 left. This has 7 updates left because it hasn't received the update yet, and it came out the box with Android 15. That's the fun part. Yes, it's the freshest, but the thing is, okay, the 9A. These are basically the same supposed same year, same season, same series. But the hiccup came out 2 months early. So it came out before the Android 15 update. It should have came out Android 15 out the box, but it did not. 14 out the box. This came out after Android 15 dropped, so it came out with Android 15 out the box. 7 updates, 6 updates, 6 updates, 5. Now, there's no guarantee that this will get the same 5 updates. There's no guarantee. Actually, there's no guarantee on any of them, because I don't think anyone will hold their device that long. Now, if they do, that's good for them. But I'm pretty sure you won't keep it past 3, maybe 4 years. And you'll be too tempted. Well, unless these little tariff issues keep going, of course. Then, oh yeah, you'll keep it for the whole 7 years. Because you won't be able to afford the devices because they'll skyrocket up to 3 to 4 times what they are right now. And I don't even think a millionaire will want to pay that much. But anyway, that was my little fun phone comparison. If I had to pick a favorite, I'm sorry. I'm just extremely susceptible to the A series. So I love my 8A. I love my 9A. Flagship 7, Flagship 9, my 2 favorites. That's it. Until next time, and hopefully I won't be so long with my videos. I'll be just comparing maybe 1 or 2 devices. This one was a little bit fun because I have 4 Pixel devices. I could have made it longer because I do have 2 other devices. I have 3 other devices. I have a Samsung Galaxy A35 5G, a Motorola Razr 2024, and a Motorola Edge 2024. But I just didn't want to include them. I just wanted to have fun just doing my pixels side by side. And let you know, as I said, I consider myself a below average user. I'm not a heavy user. I'm not a gamer. I don't stream all day. I don't live on my phone. I just go by everyday usage. That's it. Everyday, daily phone calls, messages, a quick browse here and there, and really that's it. And I'm blessed to have more than one phone. Extremely lucky, so I can't put that past. You know, it's just for me. It's just a fun thing to do. It's a fun hobby. As long as I can do it, and as long as I feel I can do it, I will do it until I'm tired. But I'm not a heavy user like that, so for me, it's just basic usage. This is my fun. This is my fun side by side. This is AJ, and I'll check you later.